everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister.
And I'm Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, and you're listening to The Made Fitz Show.
So for years, we have dedicated ourselves to giving others the tools to feel their absolute best through the power of health, fitness, and nutrition coaching, as well as both Western and functional medicine.
Each week on The Made Fitz Show, we're going to talk about everything from health trends, nutrition, topics like HRT and medical weight loss, self-care, wellness hacks, different workouts, fasting, our favorite recipes, and more.
We promise that The Made Fitz Show will be educational, entertaining, but most importantly, worth listening to each week. Now, with small, dedicated changes, you can live a healthier, more heart-filled life. We're excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are simple to adopt.
We are a certified nutritionist and a board-certified medical doctor who have a combination of over 50 years in the health and fitness world and are passionate about empowering others to take the leap and live their healthiest, happiest lives by using the tools we give in this podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Made Fitz Show. So I actually really look forward to these episodes because I get the opportunity to catch up with my good friend, Dr. Lauren, and we just get to banter back and forth. So our goal is to make these Mondays, these first Mondays of the month, just her and I talking about, current topics, things that are on top of our mind and all that stuff. So here we are today to talk to you on a plethora of topics that, to be honest with you, we don't even know yet. So I want you guys to understand that this is truly, nothing is scripted. This
Off
is
the cuff.
Yeah, these are just things that are on our mind. And to start, and I think we should do an episode. I'm sure we should do an episode on this, Lauren, you being the expert that you are. But on Thursday, I went in to my nurse practitioner and she did a peel. So thank goodness you can't really tell. But I am a lizard. Yeah, I am a lizard from my scalp all the way down to my décolleté, just peeling like crazy. And so I thought we could just talk a little bit about some of the things that we do to take good care of ourselves externally. Obviously we take our supplements, we eat really well, we exercise and all that stuff, but what kind of things do you do? Not that you have to keep this separate from Larimar Med, but not the real expensive procedures, because some of those are, but just like kind of on a daily basis or monthly or seasonally, what are some of the things you do to take care of your hair, your skin, your nails, all that stuff? I think that would be a great topic to start with.
I think that's a great topic to start with. And first of all, I never get a peel and then color my hair the next day, for the record.
You would.
Oh my gosh. So I'm laughing when
you have no idea. It's a tattoo. It is. I mean, okay, too much information, everybody. But Mick yesterday was pursuing me pretty hard. We'll just say that. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, with this hairline, and I am peeling so bad. And I'm like, seriously? He's like, I passed it. And I'm like, bless your heart. I'm like, I find myself so disgusting right now. I don't know how you find me attractive, but he did.
Oh, he did. He did. I think, yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about, first of all, when you're in your 20s, it's easy to tell your age. When you're in your 30s, it's pretty easy to guess someone's age. Then once you get to 40s, this is when you really can start to fool people if you've taken care of yourself versus really showing like, oh, she's definitely looking, whatever decade of life. And so I believe you just turned 50, as the audience knows. I turned 44 this year. So we're at decades of life that traditionally women start to show age in not the most wonderful way according to society. And it's all relative, right? I mean, I don't like I got Daxxify, which is a longer acting neurotoxin in my forehead before I came back. And so I metabolize neurotoxins, Botox, whatever neurotoxin, I decide to use on my forehead because I don't like wrinkles. Wrinkles are just fine for some people. Some people don't care. So this is all relative, right? So this is just me putting it out there. At 44, I get I get told often, which I'm assuming you get told often too, oh, you don't look your age when you tell them your actual age. And I'm proud to say my age because I know I don't look 44. You know, you don't look 50. And it's not one secret thing that you've done. It's a culmination of all of it. Right. So let's just be straight in the fact that you and I both have things in common. We both feed our body real, whole, nutritious food 95% of the time. We're not perfect. Neither of us are, 100% gluten free, dairy free, artificial sweetener free, blah, 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 all of that kind of crap. But we do really try to stick to feeding our body whole food, foods that have been around for, hundreds of thousands of years that are not, made in a factory and by these big food industries. So that is number one, because before we talk about the specifics of like peels and
Yeah.
fillers and that kind of stuff, I want to just make sure that the audience knows that if you haven't done these kind of things, don't waste your money on the other things, because this is more bang for your buck overall, because you have to address the beauty within. If you're not healthy on a cellular level, you can buy the most expensive creams and do all of the things, and you're not going to have the same look, right? So common things that we both do regularly. We both feed our body whole food. We both stay hydrated with good, high quality water. We both move a lot every day. Have you looked at your average step count in a while?
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't really paid attention, but I mean, you probably double mine, but I'm always between 10 and 15,000 is my,
Okay.
So.
Do you know where to look for your trends over the years? Because if you go to on your phone the health one, the one with the heart, if you go to that and you do the steps, and you can actually find all of your data. Because I thought it was interesting, because when I was trying to figure out, so you open up the health and you go to the under steps, it says show all health data, and then you can click on the steps and see like your trends. So like last year, when I was trying to figure out what did I do different in the year that I lost the weight, that I decided to use semaglutide, because it wasn't just using semaglutide that got me to the place that I'm at now, right? And so I was trying to figure out all of the things. And so in 2023, my average daily step count was 15,148 steps. So that was my average over.
Gotcha.
What is your average?
You can tell I found it, right? So it actually, I mean, and I don't know how good I am with having my phone, but in 2023 was 7,000 was average. And then for 24 so far, it's 10 and a half. So.
Oh, see, but that's because you mainly use your Oura ring for your
Right.
steps, right? That's why.
But it still shows the trend up, and that I'm walking more this year than which every year I'm sure you're the same. I'm trying to, to beat that a little bit more, So
for sure. But I bet you last year you walked more than 7,000 steps a day. I'm just gonna put that out there. So yeah, mine uses the Apple Watch, and so that's why that's an Apple app. So
yeah.
So we both lift weights. We both get at least 10,000 steps a day. We both eat real food, and we both stay hydrated, and we both prioritize sleep. So those are like the 5 pillars, right? Yeah. You cannot look young, vibrant, healthy without those 5 pillars as you get to the 4th and 5th decade of life and beyond, right? Mm-hmm. So then you talk about all of the extra stuff, some, like stuff that costs a lot of money, and then stuff that doesn't cost a lot of money. So the first thing is, I used to be a massage only girl where I would only get massages. Now I treat myself to a facial at least once a month. When's the last time that you, outside of your peel, did you get a facial? Because you get facials pretty regularly, right?
Yeah, I try, because like you said, I mean, I do think massages can help, with circulation and all that, but sometimes I truly want to do something that not only feels good, but I know has long-term effects. So yeah. I will usually choose a facial over a massage when I go to hotels and stuff like that. So it's obviously several times a year.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the people with the most beautiful skin are the ones that get facials on a regular basis. Yeah. And it doesn't have to, like at Larimar, we have essentially a membership program. We call them Larimar Gems, but you basically pay a monthly fee, and it can pay for anything you want. So a lot of the people that know that they're going to get a facial every month, or services monthly, they end up saving on it. And so there's different ways. You don't have to go broke doing all of the beauty stuff. But I mean, I think that a good facial with an esthetician who knows how to tell you, okay, this, your skin type, you would be best with this, not just skin type, but also knowing, like, I own a med spa. I have access to all of the great skincare, but your girl is not going to do more than about 2 steps. Like, so my estheticians know that. They know that they're not, if they, well, you need to use these 3 serums and this eye cream and this, but I'm just not going to do it. I mean, I don't care how great a product it is. I'm not going to do it. So working with an esthetician who can take care of your skin monthly and then get you on the right products. So peels, let's talk about peels. When's the last time you got a peel?
7 years, I mean, 6 to 8 years ago. It was a long time ago. And it was,
serious?
Yes, it was Nurse Tracy's recommendation, coming back from Mexico. And she's like, we could do micro needling or a peel. And I'm like, don't give me
dermaplaning.
Yeah, no,
dermaplaning.
She did that, but the vampire facial thingy.
Right? Oh, yeah. Okay, you were talking about micro needling. Okay,
she was debating between the two, and so I let her pick, and she said,
yeah.
She says that she does a peel she does a peel and she does micro needling on herself, which is crazy to me, once a month. So I think she alternates. Once a month, she does one or the other to keep, and she's got beautiful skin. So,
right.
Like you said, and it wasn't bad. I definitely am sloughing off some old yucky skin, especially after she dermaplaned, like you said, and got rid of all of that top layer of dead cells and the hair. So, and she's like, I want you to, as far as pain goes, she says, I want you to tell me when you're an 8 out of 10. I'm a tough cookie. I never got to 8 out of 10, but she said, you're starting to frost, which I'm sure you know all these terminology. And she goes, I have to take it off. I probably would have let it sit there for 20 minutes because give me my money's worth.
Yeah,
it obviously
exactly
just enough, because I'm so gross. You just go like this and it looks like it's snowing. It's wonderful.
Oh yeah. So that will actually be one of the first things that I get my estheticians to do to me when I get back from Florida, because I'm leaving in the morning, right?
Yeah,
I'm driving back to. I know. So I've got bronzed skin, and my face is definitely in dire need. My face is the only place that I used sunscreen the whole time I was here. I mean, there were a couple of days that I spent a lot of time out at the beach, and I actually was like, I should probably put on a little bit of sunscreen, because I felt myself getting a little burnt, and there was no going in at that point. But a peel is one of the first things that I'm going to get, but a good medical grade peel. Don't get one of those, over the counter stuff or whatever. Like, get a medical grade peel done by a licensed esthetician who knows, what the best peel is for your skin. So then the next thing that you need to do is not pick the skin off. I know. I'm a picker.
Oh, bad. It's fun.
Do as I say, not as I do. Literally.
But why? I mean, seriously, like, I will see a chunk of skin. Sorry, guys. And it comes off very easily. Why can't you peel it off?
I've had this same discussion with them too, because it's gonna peel off anyway. So why can't I just help it? So I think that there's probably the element of just caution of, like, you don't want to, get bacteria in it, because your hands have, bacteria on it, and it's a new layer of skin and infection and whatnot. Overall, every esthetician will tell you that it's just best if you don't pick at it, because you let it the peeling process of that dead layer of skin to just come off on its own. But I pick at it every time, and my skin looks fine. So I question that myself. I'm just going to put that out there. It's just a real raw moment. I every time I do a peel, I end up picking at it, and it is what it is. And my skin does just fine. But my skin definitely always looks better after a peel. So, but medical grade chemical peel for sure. So red light therapy, you have a red light,
Yes.
not bed, but a red light panel. How
Yes.
often do you use yours?
I try to use it every day. So maybe, but that never happens. So probably 5 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the audience that doesn't know, red light therapy, most red light therapy, like if you're doing it at your gym or you're doing it at a tanning salon, I guarantee it's not doing, it's really just a waste of your time. I like those, literally, they will convert tanning beds and put red bulbs in it and make people think that they're, yes, like most red light, devices, it's crap and they're not doing anything. So you
It's
want,
expensive. The bulbs are expensive, right?
yes, yeah. If you are actually getting red light therapy, the devices are not cheap. I mean, our red light bed, is, I basically bought a car when I bought that. Yeah, a really nice car at that too. So red light therapy, also known, the big word is photobiomodulation. Photo means light, bio means biology, modulation means change. So it's the study of how light changes your biology. So the red light goes through your skin, so you have to be naked. So if you're sitting in front of your panel, you're at home, you should be naked to get as much of the red light on your skin. But obviously, a lot of people just want it on their face because it does increase your body's natural collagen and elastin production. So anything that we can do to help basically get those cells back up and running and making more of the collagen and elastin, because that is what is going away as we get older. And the decline in our natural collagen and elastin production starts in our mid-20s. So anything that we can do to slow that down and reverse that. So I past the 5 pillars of, the baseline stuff that you got to be doing, I definitely do peels on a regular basis. I get monthly facials. I do red light therapy, and then I do use collagen. And you and I both consumed collagen, in our shakes and whatnot for years now, right?
Yeah. And it's funny too, yesterday when I was kind of organizing behind me, I had Dr. T on his podcast, and he had an expert. His whole studying was about protein, its utilization, what kinds are best, all that stuff. And he was talking about collagen. And I found this very interesting. In fact, I wrote it down because Dr. Tia asked him about collagen specifically. Is that something that we need? And he mentioned that glycine and proline, those 2 amino acids, are very dominant in collagen. And that he says, as far as, taking it for, muscle or anything like that, no, he said, but for the joints and all that, he says there is studies that show that it is helpful on that kind of a level of the connective tissue. He did say, though, which, always makes me go, oh, he says, if you're getting enough protein, if you're getting plenty of protein, he says, you're probably getting enough of the glycine and the proline that you don't need collagen. So I think it's a matter of, if you don't feel like you're getting enough quality protein, to supplement with collagen. But then he had me second guessing, well, now do I need it? Because I feel like I get a lot of protein in my diet. So
right. Well, same goes with creatine, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Do you follow Dr. Stacy Sims? She's the PhD that wrote the book Roar, and she's got 2 good books, Roar, and I forget her second book. But basically, Roar was focused on females that are like in menstruating years, and she touched a little bit on perimenopause, and then her next book is menopause and postmenopause. But she's an elite athlete. I believe she was a vegan for a while. She isn't any longer, but she's the first person I ever heard, I'm gonna say a word that they're gonna have to bleep out, but lift heavy ladies, the S word. That's first person, because she is all about, the fact that we are not just little men. We are, our physiology is different as females, right? And so I really respect her stuff, because she's a PhD, and when she puts out literature, she reviews literature like a scientist, right? and she looked at the review of literature for creatine, and it made me I've been taking creatine every day for a long, long time, but I eat a lot of meat, and it made me like think I probably don't need to supplement with creatine because I eat so much meat, you know? So do you supplement with creatine?
I don't, man, I get asked daily about it though, daily.
Yeah.
And I've seen the studies. I know it's, also been shown to aid in longevity. It's obviously good for exercise performance. I just never got in the habit of it. I mean, I have it in my pantry and I never take it. So I'm for it, but it's not
Yeah.
my routine.
So after hearing the Dr. T talking about the collagen, did you stop taking it?
No, I had some this morning. Because this gentleman, gosh, it might still be on my YouTube, quite the expert. And he wasn't convinced that there isn't benefits to it. Maybe just not as huge, as we
Right.
think.
Right.
So
Right.
I paid for it. There's a chance that it will help with my connective tissue. So yeah, I'll probably continue to take it, but I'm less prone to tell people you absolutely, unless you maybe you are vegan or you just
Right.
not a meat eater, then absolutely supplement with that creatine to get those 2 amino acids that are so good for connective tissue.
Right. Right. The collagen, I'll tell people I don't really count that towards my total protein goal. But I do use collagen every day. I will tell you that. So I never, up until the last probably 2 years, I've never really been super intentional about hitting protein goals. Even though I knew protein was important, it wasn't until I started prescribing the weight loss drugs to my patients before I even took it, because I knew I didn't want them to waste muscle. So I knew that they had to be really intentional about eating protein and making sure they lifted weights, right? So when I decided to try it myself after having my, a handful of patients that had major success using it, who these were actually all patients that started off, they were my Beachbody clients, and then they turned into my patients. So these are women that I knew very well. I knew that they weren't looking for a quick fix. They were doing all of the things, and they were still stuck at whatever weight. And so semaglutide was definitely a major tool that started the momentum. And so long story short, that's when I really started to be understanding how important protein is and how much we underestimate how much protein we have, right? I mean, classic, yeah, I eat high protein. So I start asking patient what they eat. Well, I have an egg at breakfast, and then they go on, and I'm like, you realize that egg only has 6 grams of protein, right? Like you said, you literally told me you eat a lot of protein at breakfast, and yet the only thing that had protein in it was your egg that has 6 grams of protein. So when I started to be intentional, when I decided to use semaglutide in my own weight loss journey, that was the first time that I really was like, okay, I've never counted calories, never done anything like that. I counted the macronutrient of protein when I was on semaglutide. And now, like, my nails are always super long. Like the only reason that, they're not, well, most of them are long, but like I have to trim them now. And that's a first. I mean, my hair, skin, and nails are completely different after the protein. So I've been taking collagen since 2015, but my nails have come and gone. But now that I'm eating high protein, like my nails are consistently always long, and I don't get my nails done or have press-ons or whatever. I used to, but I don't anymore. So yeah. So any other beauty things that you do that I mean, you did mention the microneedling. So we have Morpheus. I will be doing Morpheus when I get back.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Jealous you have that available to you like you do. I use is it Zoe? It doesn't matter what brand it is, but yeah, I use an exfoliator, on my body and my face, probably twice a week. I actually think that makes a huge difference. I have very dry skin anyway, and I lotion heavily, and I think it gets up on my skin a little bit. And I once read, or someone said that maybe your skin isn't dry, you've got buildup on it. So if you slough off the old, you've got new, softer skin underneath. And I'm like, gosh, that could totally be me. I just keep laughing on the lotion because it just feels so dull and dry when it's probably buildup. So I think that's really important as well, is to make sure that you exfoliate your skin on occasion to get rid of a buildup of sunscreen or lotions or, just dead skin. And that's made a big difference.
There are these Korean spas so the first time I ever went to one, it's so funny. So back in the day when I used to do the whole dance fitness master classes, so people would pay me to come and teach, a 90-minute master class. Was awesome. Like, I got paid a lot of money to go dance in front of people for 90 minutes. It was amazing. And then whoever the host was would treat us to dinner. And so it was me and my best friend, Kelsey. And we went to Atlanta for the Atlanta master class. And so the hosts were these two awesome girls. We're still friends with them, but they picked us up and they took us to this place. I think it was called Jeju or something, but it was a Korean day spa. I'd never been there before. So we went and we got all sorts of stuff done. But one of the things that you can have done at this place is I felt like I was at a fish market, to be honest. And I felt like I was one of the fish. So imagine it's open. You can't be modest. Okay. First of all, you're walking around naked. You go in, if you decide to get one of the body scrubs, you go in, you lay on this counter naked. And then this Korean woman who's literally, I feel like, imagine the, cocaine cartel women who, have to basically be almost naked when they're cutting up cocaine on movies. I've never seen it in person, but you know what I mean? So imagine Asian women basically in bra and panties, next to nothing. They're almost naked. And then they're just there and they're just scrubbing your body down. And they do head to toe scrub. And then it's so disgusting. You would not believe how much dead skin comes off of you. It's amazing. It's disgusting, but amazing. And then they after, they're done scaling. We've been fishing a lot here in Florida. So I see specifically these Asian people, they come and they clean house. They have so much fish and they're scaling and cleaning and whatnot. That's how I felt. I felt after I was done with the exfoliation, they washed me off like I was a fish and just nice new skin. And but the exfoliation, the Zeo exfoliating polish is the product you're talking about. That is one of the best sellers from that line. It's a great product, but I bet Dallas has a Korean day spa that has those options. I mean, maybe you should look into it.
My favorite thing to do is to go get a body scrub and a massage or massage body scrub and then a facial to get, to stretch it out to 2 something hours, 2-3 hours. And then of course our time in Bali, we had everything under the sun done, including we had you have to tell me what that's called, when we sat on the chair and they steamed our hoo-ha. I don't know what that's called. We did
vaginal steaming. Yeah. It was amazing.
Really? Didn't feel bad.
No, it did not feel bad. It did not feel bad. I can't, I know that there are some businesses that's all they offer. I can't imagine doing that on a regular basis.
Right.
But I mean, the vagina has been described as it has its own, it's like an oven. You hit, self-clean and it can clean itself like that. The vagina has its own system to clean itself. So you don't, I don't know, but it was fun. We can say that we were steaming our vagina in Bali. I mean,
just chatting. I mean, that one was 6 hours. I mean, that was really amazing.
That was not 6 hours of vaginal steaming.
No,
6 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Of all of the things.
So that was incredible. But I'm trying to think what else that I do. Of course, the Botox. I've gotten Botox for a really long time. And it started off with, and I think everybody kind of starts that way. You look at your mom. I looked at my mom, and a beautiful lady, but she very, very heavy 11s. And I thought to myself, I'm obviously destined to get those. And it's such an ugly term, but my sister, my mom, and my grandmother all had, my grandmother's passed away, but the profound turkey neck, it runs in the family. So that's always been a concern of mine. I think because I've stayed lean and active, she's holding up, but the 11s. And so I told myself, I don't want those to become permanent because there's no way my mom could get rid of them at that time. So I started Botox very early. And then because I'm so lean, I've always gotten fillers, and I've tried them all. I've put everything in my face over time. And I've had great jobs, and I've had jobs that haven't been so great. Like the gal, Tracy, who I'm promoting the hell out of for some reason today, she's such a minimalist with it. And I really appreciate it. I will go in thinking that I need some, and she's like, no, I don't think you do, and I'm like,
I love that, man. That's a sign that you have a good injector, because I mean, there are some, I literally, it's funny because now I'm sure Ty loves the fact that he can spot someone that's got filler, but like, he'd be like, yep, she's got filler, doesn't, yep, you're correct. I love when people have face that you can't tell that they have filler, but they definitely have filler. I mean, filler or something like Sculptra or Radius, which is a biostimulator that ultimately has the same end result, which it gives you a more full look. So like after losing, my 25 pounds, I definitely had some sunken areas in my face. And so my people went in and used both Sculptra and Radius, and definitely like it was such a slight difference, but you can tell the before and after. I should use the before and after pictures, but yeah, the filler is, I've only had filler in my lips, and by now it's gone. So these are just my natural lips, because filler only lasts for so long. So,
and I'm a huge fan of your lips, and I remember you got your lips done. I was like, son of a bitch, here she's got the most perfect lips, and then they made them, still perfect, but a little bit bigger. But if you guys follow, I always just look at her lips when she talks, and which was what I was doing. I just think you have the most beautiful lips. So,
oh, thank you.
It's one of my favorite.
Everyone needs a friend like Melissa, just so you know.
I speak the truth.
She always makes you feel really good. Again, you never remember what people say to you. You remember how they make you feel, and you always make people feel really good.
Oh, thank you. I have to tell you the horror story when I was living in Maui, and I swear to you, he's 80 something years old. And so this was 25 years ago. And Doing Your Lips had just come out, and I let this old man inject my lips, and I came home, and my husband looked at me and started dying laughing hysterically, and I started crying, and I was like, I can't undo. And thank goodness they were me, because there was nothing, anything back then. That was one of the most painful experiences I ever had. Really swollen. And so the swelling did go down. I still didn't like it, but the swelling did go down. But to come home and to have your husband, I mean, he didn't want to laugh at me. He could not help himself. And I was like, oh, that was terrible. So since then I've tried again. It's very hard for me because I have such small lips that putting filler in them, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work for me very well. So fillers in the lips is not my thing, but
it's crazy though. And of course, I mean, this is dumb for me speaking about this, because this is, one way that Larimar Med makes money, but our society has come to a place that's very weird, because like the whole desire to have the fake lips and the fake butt and the fake, whatever, like you ask most men, and most men are like, no, like I liked your lips before, like, I mean, I don't have much of a booty, but what I do have is better than if I were to go get butt, implants, and, like, just, we were watching a movie from like the late 90s, and we made the observation, like, all of these women look so natural. Like, yeah, you don't have the fake hair, the crazy fake nails, the fake eyelashes, the fake everything. Like, how did we get to this place? Like, can we just rein it back just a little bit,
Nick and I watch 80s, and sometimes early 90s music videos when we're working out. And he always comments, he's like, the women are so natural. He goes, they're so beautiful. And he goes, they were so natural back then. And I'm like, And it's just like social media. Will we ever go back? I don't know. Will we,
Man.
to not being so obsessed with social media? Will we ever go back to not doing, during how we look, to look like somebody else so much? I don't know that we'll ever go back, but I'm all for it, because I'm obviously, somebody who does that anti-aging and trying to, accentuate what I have. Like, another thing that I do is I used to get those lash extensions. I haven't had them for 4 years. And you've heard my woes about my natural lashes. And I used Latisse there for a while. I was really good about it for about 3 months. But I used the Lashify, and now there's a ton of dupes out there, less expensive dupes. And I really like those. I don't think they damage my lashes. I can easily just take them off at night. I can also keep them on for a week. They're very, for me, they're great. I don't like the strips. I don't think I have, like right now, I don't have anything on because I'm being lazy. I was going to take a shower after this. But when I put them on, I feel feminine. I know that Mick likes the way that they look. And so they're a really inexpensive, non-evasive way to
Right.
more feminine and to bring my eyes out. But so if you've never tried them, and I think you may have tried them too. I have so many people that tell me they buy them and they can't get them on, or they can't get them on. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
Not that you need them because your lashes are ridiculous. You should
Because I use Latisse
I know you should
regularly.
be like the Latisse spokesperson.
I mean, seriously. But when you use it regularly, it works.
Yeah. And I did, and it totally helps. And they're not, I mean, let me zoom in. They're so much, they're 3 times longer than they were. Those lash extensions did a freaking number on my lashes. I mean, I literally looked like I didn't have any. I don't even know how they were holding on. That's why they weren't lasting. And I quit using them. They really do a lot of damage. So these don't.
Well, I mean, the allergic reaction that I had, I mean, it was always just the underlying like slight itch, and my eyes were typically bloodshot. And I mean, I really can't believe that I did the lash extensions for so long, to be honest.
And they're expensive and time consuming.
Yes.
So hard to lay there my mind's going a mile a minute, and I've got so many things to do. And I'm like, would you please hurry up? It's not relaxing.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely not. So speaking, I did a reeling it in. So I have lately become a fisherman.
Yeah.
And have you ever fished before?
Lauren. So let me preface this by saying yesterday, I don't know if you saw my stories, I saved Spider from being in the middle of the road. And I walked down the street a little bit more, and I saw a bunch of earthworms all over the street. And I picked up 50 earthworms trying to save their life before I looked up, and there were thousands. And I finally succumbed to the fact that I can't save thousands. So I had to turn around. So I didn't look at them. I can't fish. I can't, I mean, I can't fish. I feel I can eat them. I'm a hypocrite. I can eat a cow, but I can't go, love on a cow that I know is going to be slaughtered I mean, I'm a hypocrite, but I can't do it. Can't do it.
I don't think I fished a little bit when I was younger. I had a girlfriend that was very much a tomboy, and we would go out and just fish every now and then. I probably fished maybe a total of 10 times in my childhood. So it wasn't like it was, full of memories of fishing, and I wasn't a great fisherman. But so since being in Florida, I'll go with Ty, and I just love being outside. Like, I love the outdoors. And so I'll go and I'll be his helper and whatnot. But I actually haven't started fishing up until literally just this last week. I really like it a lot. Yeah. It's like, I think it's good for someone like you and me, because I don't know, it slows you down. Like it takes patience, but you still get to be outside in nature. And we end up throwing a majority of, actually, we've thrown all of the fish back. We just take the hook out and they go back into the water, but it's fun. Yeah. So we're going to Fort DeSoto today to fish, our last day of fishing before we head back to Chicago.
Good for you. As soon as we moved to Cabo, one of the first things Mick bought was a fishing boat. And he always says, let's go out and go fishing. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can fish. I'll get in a float. I'll look for, you sea turtles. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm such a baby, but I feel like the hook hurts, and
No, but for real though, I watched this documentary just last week. We watched it together on SeaWorld and the killer whales. Man, I thought of you. Like, you couldn't watch that. You would have to turn it off. You would have nightmares about it forever. Like, I just cannot believe that it's legal for them to do that. Because it started off talking about remember the trainer that was killed at the SeaWorld, that was like a master trainer. She was 40 years old. She'd been training killer whales for a long, long time, and she was like Miss Safety, like always follow the rules with safety. And the killer whale killed her. I mean, they're called killer whales for a reason. But I mean, like, can you imagine like this little condo that I'm renting for the time that I'm here? Like, it would be like me being confined to this little space my whole life. These whales are meant to travel, hundreds of miles every day, and now they're like,
yeah.
But I thought of you.
Yeah.
Anytime I see a reel or a documentary on animals that makes me cry, I'm like, oh, Melissa couldn't watch this.
Oh, and people send them to me, and I have to tell them, I'm like, please don't send me the sad stuff. If I help that animal, if there's something I cannot do, I can't see it, because it literally will keep me up all night. Can't do it. So yeah.
You can't save 1,000 earthworms. I'm sorry. You just can't. It's the circle of life.
You would have laughed at me. I was just like,
I would have.
And I thought to myself, I mean, because there's birds all around. I'm like, well, at least birds, would you come down and eat the damn thing? So at least there's, a circle of life kind of a situation.
Yes.
Mick always reminds me when I see roadkill and I'm devastated, he's like, something will eat it. It's the circle of life. The vultures will come,
absolutely,
another animal, meat eater will come and will eat the roadkill. It's going to be put to good use. So he does make me feel better, but man, I get traumatized easy with animals, very easy. Like this stupid possum right now. I'm just so worried about him. I'm hoping he can have a quality of life when his.
This is the one that you put the feeding bowl in the tree for?
No, that's the raccoon.
Oh, that's the raccoon.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with you.
The possum obviously either got intentionally ran over or was underneath a car and got drugged, because his little back feet.
Oh.
Yeah, they're ground to nothing.
I missed that one.
Yeah, and I think one of his ankles are broken. I'm not sure. So we're just nursing him right now, hopefully back to health, and he can be re-released. I just got to keep an eye on him, because maybe that one leg is going to be enough of a problem that he can't have a quality of life and live on his own, and I'm not keeping him. So we might have to take him out of his misery if he's in misery, but right now he seems good. So
right.
And they come to me, they come to me, Lauren. I don't go looking for injured animals. They come knocking on my door. And of course,
animal whisperer, she lives down that way. Go that direction.
And you know what? One of the banters I wanted to talk to you about, which really isn't in our scope of what we talk about normally, but you being, you've got your beautiful dogs and being an animal lover, and me having Luna here. And I want, because I was going to say this on my social media, but why not on the podcast? I want to remind people what a responsibility these animals are. And if you have pets that it just as an example, there's always circumstances, but literally lives in a crate the 9 hours that you're at work, all day long. And then you take it out and you take it potty. And from that point on, they just sit around the house. You don't walk them. You don't play with them. You don't love them. They're just, I don't know, get rid of them, find them a better home.
Thank you. Thank you.
They deserve to be walked every day. I walk my Canadian cat every day. She needs to go outside. She loves it. They are an inconvenience. Yes, they bring you so much love and joy back, but they are an inconvenience. And if you can't handle that inconvenience and you don't give them a good quality of life, you shouldn't be a pet owner. They're not there for
I agree. Thank you.
time a week that you want to take a Saturday morning walk with your dog. They need to be walked once, if not twice a day. And they should not be in a crate. It's just,
there was this woman who rented the condo across the way for January and February. She's from Wisconsin. Her name is not Wendy, but we called her Wisconsin Wendy because we have names for everyone. you know, depending on what they inspire us to name them. So Wisconsin Wendy. So imagine, so she's probably upper 60s. She's one of those, she walks with a limp. She's probably 100 pounds overweight, probably has never taken care of her health. And she has this dog that's about 60 pounds and is, you know, young. It's like 2 years old. It's not a pup, but I mean, it's a dog that needs exercise. And we literally are 1 block away from a dog park, and she will basically put the dog in the car to take it to the dog park. And I'm like, Wisconsin Wendy, don't get that dog in general. Like, you can't give him the life that, I mean, you can't even walk. It just kills me. Wisconsin Wendy. You should hear some of the names that we come up with, people. It's like one of my favorite things about Florida, or not Florida, because we do this everywhere we go, but like, there's just so many great personalities here.
100%. Everywhere.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, no, I agree. I was actually talking to my best friend Jamie about my dogs, because I mean, my dogs, I mean, Duke is what, 15 or 16 years old, and Lila's 3 years behind him. I mean, and they're still, I mean, they're definitely slowing down. Like, you know, we can only go on 30-minute walks now, and sometimes that's even too long. So I know that they probably don't have too much longer. And when I think about it, I get teary-eyed, and I'm not going to get teary-eyed today, but
mixed job. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, Mick already did enough of that on my interview with him this morning, so, which was a great interview. But you know, I was telling Jamie, I'm like, I said something, I will, you know, I'll be with them until their last days, until they go to doggy heaven, because it is inconvenient. Like, there are things that I would like to do that having the dogs is holding me back from. But I've committed. When I adopted them, I committed to, you know, being with them till the last day. And I just can't. She was like, that makes me so glad that, and I was like, of course I would say that. Who wouldn't? She goes, you wouldn't, you know, there'd be a lot of people that will just give them away in these last years. I'm like, who does that? Yeah. Like, they're a responsibility. They can be such a blessing, but they are ultimately your responsibility. Yeah. And if you know, don't get me started.
So you just said something, and I want to talk about friendships, because you say this all the time, or I'll hear, you know, I send those BFF memes and reels all the time. You get them all the time. So I have, you know, say 5 close friends, and I know you have a small net too, but whenever you say my BFF and you're not talking about me, I am so offended. Nothing more than for you to have this amazing circle of good women in your life, but I'll be damned if when you say, I talked to my BFF on the phone yesterday. I'm like, she didn't call me.
Wait, we didn't talk.
It's silly, but it's true. And you know, and I think when you become, you know, an adult, you learn that you can have more than one BFF, that, you know, you can have multiple best friends. But when you're younger, you think to, you know, I've got one best friend.
I mean, yeah, that, because there's better, and then there's best, and there's only one best. No, trust me, I've heard this argument, because one of my best friends got it. She's like, how do you have more than one best friend? I'm like, I just do. Well, the definition of best is the best of everything. So I thought I was your best friend. Like, you're one of like 5 of my best friends. Sorry. It just is what it is.
And you've been saying this a lot in your stories too, which I just echo that sentiment. You have, you know, who are you hanging out with? Who inspire, you know, Mick, which, you know, the episode you guys talked about, finances, he wants to be the poorest man in the room. He wants to be around other men that, you know, have generated, and he's not. It really bothers him. He would love for us to be, you know, close friends with, and, you know, this sounds arrogant, but would love to have close friends that have really good marriages, but it's really difficult to find. You know, I think we probably have, you know, one other couple that, you know, we appreciate their long-term relationship. And other than that, it's, you know, they don't get along that well, or, you know, it's it's just not a thriving marriage. So that's
See, I'll have to say because that is one thing that we talked about when I interviewed Mick solo without you there, which that was a very good idea. It was best that I just interview him. But you know, I think that I still have hope of, that in my life, even though I failed at it in the past, the whole marriage thing, because I am divorced, as you know, and most of the people know. But like
no, you didn't fail. Please don't say that. That bothers me. I don't think you failed. I'm just going to say that. I mean, there was failure, but I don't think you failed.
I mean, there's no relationship that ends that both parties aren't at fault. I mean, was he more at fault than me? I mean, it's all
Yes.
relative. It doesn't really matter, but it doesn't really matter though. I'm a divorced 44-year-old female, but I haven't lost hope that, I can. Now granted, I won't be able to find someone that I have, celebrating 50-year wedding anniversary, because, I mean, although my genes are pretty freaking good. My great grandmother lived to like 105, so
Wow.
maybe it's possible. But I had so many close, out of my best friends, most of you have incredible marriages. Like, so I think that that's why I have a skewed view, because the rest of the world, it's, grim. The odds are not in your favor. But I have so many people that are close to me that have incredible, healthy marriages, I still have faith in them, So even second time around, third time around, it's, I believe that, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so many girlfriends and one guy friend that are just top tier human beings that are single, looking for, long-term love. And
Yeah.
I'm just sad that I don't know, especially on the male side. I don't, it's tough to find, an upstanding gentleman. I feel like these days, at least the ones that I have had relationships, maybe over the last 10 years, I find out they're not upstanding whatsoever. And so, and Mick has always told me, again, I mean, he's been in the car industry. He's just been around a lot of guys, whether they're married, whether they're single. He's just like, many of them are, pieces of crap. And so
Yeah.
for him to say that, because he hears what they say behind their wives or what they do,
Right.
So it's
Right.
just like I told Brianne, I said, your man is out there. We're going to find him. He's out there and we're going to find him. It may be in a very unconventional way, when you least expect it, when you're actually not looking for it. But there's a person for every person out there. I really, truly believe that.
I believe that. I loved hearing, because I've heard your love story. Not that the whole episode where I interviewed Mick was your love story, but I've heard y'all's story multiple times and way more details than we got to hit, when I was interviewing him. But I just love y'all's story. It's so perfectly imperfect, I mean, both of you come from, neither of you were privileged. Neither of you had silver spoons handed to you. You both statistically have beat the odds. Y'all both should not have, been in, healthy, happy marriages, been financially, successful, had incredible kids. I mean, you both beat the odds despite the hurdles that y'all have, overcome throughout the years. Your stories are just powerful.
Thank you. And we can wrap this up, but one of the things that I have been thinking about lately is, if I were to raise kids again, what would I do differently? I think I'm biased, but I do think I have really good kids. Really, really.
Do.
But I think to myself, what could I have done? What would I have done differently? And one of the things that I would have done, they did grow up in Hawaii, which, sounds amazing. And it was, but their school was a third, Asian influence, local, and then white. And so they weren't the majority by any means. And you do have the local Hawaiian children who are very proud of their land. And so they may have gotten, a little bit of pushback there. So they're very humble that way. And they They never see race. They never see, age, anything like that. But one thing I wish I would have done with my kids. So if you're a mom out there, heed my warning, my thought process here is to have taken my kids and had them spend more time at an animal shelter volunteering, or at a a food bank, or just helping out less privileged animals than maybe the dog that they have that has the perfect life, or people that are just don't even know where their next meal's coming from, a soup kitchen. I just wish I would have done that more with my kids. I think it could have made them even more well-rounded, and they could have, because I volunteer a lot financially and my time a lot with things like shelters. And my kids really don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think that if they would have grown up with that a little more often, they would have pursued that as adults. Maybe they're both so busy right now. How kids think that they're so busy, so chaotic. Life is so hard. That they don't feel they have the time, or the wherewithal, is that the word, to do it? But
wherewithal, yes.
I wish I would have had them do that more often. There were times that we wanted to like donate for Thanksgiving. And bless these, facilities are like that. We get more volunteers than we need on Thanksgiving, because that's everybody's, I'm going to feel good about myself. And she says, when we need to, not on the holidays. And I'm like, yeah. So there was a half attempt effort on my end, but obviously I never pursued that. And I wish I would have done that more.
Yeah, no, I think that's really a profound thing that you can do as a parent. Because I'll never forget the first time that I went to a third world country, and you do not have to be in a third world country to recognize how lucky you are and how privileged you are compared to other people. But just find people or animals that are in your local area. And I think that that's a great piece of advice, because that will change you. That will change you to be a better person, for sure.
Hopefully you just create this generational thing where, your children do it and your children will teach your grandchildren and so forth. And actually you make a great dent in this world, outside of finances and, contributions, but just helping another human being, or helping another animal in need. And, considered, like you said, to adopt. I see all the time, these beautiful, like 10 and 12-year-old cats and dogs that have been in shelters for 4 or 5 years because they're older. Adopt those kind, instead of the cute, or instead of, going. And I've been guilty of this. Please understand, I've been so guilty of this. I have bought the purebred animals when I was younger. It's very tempting. They're adorable. But man, I would have changed that as well. I would have done shelter from day one if I had known what I know now.
We're talking about parenting. It's interesting. I just realized that Mick never actually answered my question fully, because I asked him, what do you think made you a good parent? And he immediately said, I'm not. My kids are great because it was Melissa.
Oh,
I know. He was like, I was gone pretty much the first 15 years.
Yeah, but that's not true, because the man would work 6 days a week, and on his 7th day, he'd have to go mow the lawn, and he would strap Tanner in a backpack and mow the lawn.
He told that story.
Tanner on his back, just to spend time with his son.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring it up here, because I know that's granted, I get it. He said he was working 70, 80 hours a week. And I know what that looks like. Residency, I was working 80 hours easily every single week. That does not leave a lot of time for anything else outside of work. But I wanted to ask you to finish that question for him, because your husband is very ADHD, and he was all over the place for a few parts of the interview. And he didn't finish answering that. He literally just like, well, I'm not, my kids are great because Melissa, because I was gone for the first 15 years. But there's still parenting that happens after the 15 years, and even during the 15 years.
He's the hard ass. He's the disciplinarian. He always has been. I'm not, I know this shocks you. I'm not good at discipline.
Shocking.
Good at holding the disciplinary measures. he is. And even this possum, I went in and I tapped it and I was I thought it was dying. So I went in the house and I'm like, I'm going to need you to go check on him and take care of him if he's dying or if he's dead, and he just rolled his eyes at me, but he's just so good at the tough stuff. He's the one that possum every night and loves on him and checks on him and has such a heart for the animal. But at the same time, he's got the strength to discipline. He's got the strength to take something out of its misery if it really needs to be. So he's tremendous that way. Our kids are very respectful and very disciplined because he was a good disciplinarian.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I knew that there were a few little things that we needed to add on to that particular episode because he didn't finish answering my question. All right. Are there any other things that you want to hit on today's banter? Things that are going on in the world right now, or anything? I mean, World War III is probably about to start. I mean, even though I try not to watch the news, but apparently it might happen any second now.
That's honestly why I was telling Lauren, that this house, we're going to put it on the market because we really don't want to spend a lot of time in the United States, as sad as that is. Yeah. And, my father died for this country. And every time that song, I'm Proud to Be an American, comes on, Mick, it came on the other day and he looked at me and he goes, I used to be, and I think, that I lost my father for our rights. And I just think we're in such an ugly state right now. It really saddens me. So,
yeah. I've kind of jokingly said, if it weren't for my dogs, I really would be thinking about picking up and moving out of the country too. Yeah. I mean, my parents are still here. Obviously, that's one of the main reasons why that wouldn't happen, even if the dogs had already gone to doggy heaven. But I mean, it's a crazy place. And I was listening to the interview that you did with Allie this morning on my walk. And, I love the fact that she echoed something that you and I have been talking about multiple times: unfollow the negative. Anyone that, I love the fact that if someone's sending you a negative reel, please just don't send it to me. Like, don't waste your energy. I don't want that in my vision. I don't want it in my brain. Like, stop sending it to me. Unfollow the stuff that's negative. And that doesn't mean, get detached with the entire world, but you got to protect what goes into your brain, because that affects your thoughts and it affects everything else,
Yeah, 100%. So, well, I enjoyed talking with you today, catching up.
Yes, me too. Love you. And, next time I see you, I will not have this fake background to represent the fact I'm in Florida. I will be back in Chicagoland area for the summer, but the summer is beautiful weather there, so I'm happy for that. So I'll get to be at Larimar Med with all my people and see all my friends and all that kind of stuff. So next time, for those people that watch it on YouTube, I'll have a different background. I will no longer have my fake Florida ocean background.
Or I don't know how much sun you'll get in Chicago, but even now you're darker than me because I lost my Mexico tan pretty quickly, but it does look good on you.
Thank you. All right, we shall wrap it up.
Yeah, you close it out, girl.
I can't close it out because I haven't come up with my saying yet.
I think we need to hold her accountable. The very next.
I think yes.
You interview somebody, you do it solo, or Chu and I. You better have something. That's what your fishing trip. Relax. This is where you're going to figure out your.
No, on my 19-hour drive, I'm going to come up with a saying.
There you go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Till then, I will close it out, and I will let you guys know that we both hope that you wake up feeling prepared and that you go to bed feeling proud. Have a great day.
Bye.
Wow, we've reached the end, but before we leave you, we'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion, and to us, your opinion does matter.
Now, the content in this episode is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.
Share this episode with anyone you think needs to hear this message. And please remember to do your part of the bargain by rating, reviewing, and subscribing wherever you listen to the Made Fitz show.
We are Melissa and Dr. Fitz, and until next time, thank you for your time, support, and action you take in your own health journey. You get one life. Let's live it abundantly together.